Commissioners to order at this time. We will stand for the invocation, which will be the Lord's Prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord's Prayer all together.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Hughes?
Here.
Commissioner Mosier?
Here.
Commissioner Richardson?
Here.
Commissioner Jinks?
Here.
Commissioner Stutz?
Here.
Minutes were in your packet. I hope you've had a chance to read those. Is there a motion to accept?
Make a motion
From-
for approval.
Okay. From
Second.
May 20th to May 28th. Okay, motion's been made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion does carry. The recorder now has a report on distributions. Jessica?
Okay. In front of you is the April report. Page 1 of the general fund made a payment to Blue Cross for $5,032.79. That's employee dental, vision, and short-term death and disability policy. And then also a quarterly unemployment payment to the state of Tennessee, $1,546.11. That's the first quarter, and that's usually the largest quarter of the year. Towards the bottom of that page, $1,100 to Appalachian Inspection Services. That is Tony that's doing our inspections by contract. Page 2, made a purchase at Jackie Jones for the street truck, $54,305. That was opened by bid and voted on by the board. Towards the bottom of that page, the stormwater payment for the month to Sweetwater Utility Board, $9,256. And moving to page 4, at the bottom of that page, $2,500 was made to seal it ASAP. That was to reseal the downtown parking lot. And also $1,800 to Sweetwater FFA. I just wanted to point that out because we bought our spring flowers this year for downtown from the high school FFA club. They grew them in the greenhouse. State Street Aid, we purchased the paint machine that we've been striping and painting everything in town, $8,811.92 from Sherwin-Williams Company. And then also at the bottom of that, they did work in Willow Creek to level out the sidewalks rather than having to replace and remove all the trees. So that came to $12,689, and that was Precision Concrete Cutting LLC that we paid for that work. Nothing significant in the drug fund. The tourism fund, we made a payment to the mural artist, $2,500, Megan Lingerfelt. And then the library report is next. If you have any questions, Tanya is here tonight. Nothing significant in the LEA account, but we did sell off a couple pieces of equipment and got some revenue into that account in April from those GovDeals sales. And then in solid waste collection, the contract for garbage was $23,873.44. That's the residential contract amount to WCI. Any questions?
Thank you, Jessica. All in favor of the distributions for the month of April? Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion does carry. No one is registered for the public comment period, so we will now open a public hearing on 2 pending ordinances. The first is the budget ordinance. Is anyone present to make a comment on the proposed budget ordinance, ordinance number 1035? Next, is anyone present to make a comment on the ordinance to close an alley off of Dodge Street, ordinance number 1037? This public hearing is now closed. In old business, we have the library budget included in your package. If you've had a chance to go over that, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, motion does carry. At our workshop, we reviewed the budget for the Board of Education, which Rodney came and went over. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion's
Second.
been made and second. In discussion? If not, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. We have the budget ordinance number 1035. It's for final reading. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion for approval of ordinance 1035. Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Hughes,
Aye.
Commissioner Mosier,
Aye.
Commissioner Richardson,
Aye.
Commissioner Jinks,
Aye.
Commissioner Stats.
Aye.
Motion carries. We also have ordinance number 1037 to close an alley off of Dodge Street on final reading. And John went over that and we discussed that in our workshop and call meeting. Is there a motion to approve the closing of alley on Dodge Street?
Mayor, I got a question before we get that. I need to refresh my memory. Where is Dodge Street?
It's Dode, it's behind Dixon, so it's the property that, the Westview Cemetery owned, and Clayton Homes owned a lot on Monroe Street. They basically traded lots, did a land swap, and this was a little 10-foot wide alley that bisected, that property from Dode Street down to, I believe it's Dixon. It had never even been opened, honestly. It was platted years ago in the 20s, never opened. There's nothing there. The utility board looked at it and said they have no use for it. So they just wanna basically make sure when they divide this up and put homes in there, that there's no body that comes back years later and says, hey, there's an alley.
Okay, that's the one that goes down by Charlie Fry's and that way, right? Comes from Cemetery straight down, goes by Charlie Fry's to Bud Dixon's house.
I don't know where Charlie Fry's.
No.
Dixon
No.
lives.
No.
That one, there is an alley here that is still an alley. We're not
Yeah.
touching that one. This one's actually in the middle of
Yeah.
this parcel. It's
Okay.
green grass and like you couldn't drive over it if you wanted to. It's
Yeah.
just
It's right there close to the mausoleum.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
On-
right. There's no homes
yeah,
there. It's
yeah.
close to that mausoleum.
okay.
Okay,
Sorry, Mayor.
that's all right.
I think we're still on.
I'll make a motion to
Okay.
close that.
That's what I was gonna say. I
Second.
didn't think we had a motion yet, but okay, now we have a motion in a second.
Okay, is there a second?
Sam
Second.
Motion made and second, all right. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, motion does carry.
We do need a roll call on that one.
Pardon?
We need a roll call.
Roll call.
Commissioner Hughes,
Aye.
Commissioner Mosier,
Aye.
Commissioner Richardson,
Aye.
Commissioner Jinks,
Aye.
Commissioner Stats.
Aye.
Under new business, we have a motion does carry. We have a request from the recorder for accounts. This is action to remove uncollectible taxes and assessments from accounts. I think we talked about that during the workshop, so I need a motion.
I make a motion, we remove the unaccountable taxes.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Any question on this? If not, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, motion does carry. One more thing, before we open the beer board, you've got a blue packet in front of you. This is a packet that has been presented to the board by Jerry Lynch, who, lives here in Sweetwater, and he's a master brewer. What he would like to do is the blue warehouse building of the utility board that we acquired, he would like to turn that into a brewery. Now, you've got some pictures in front of your packet to give you some idea of what it looks like now. He would like to set up a brewery in it and maybe a restaurant. he's had one contractor, he told me, that looked at it, and it could be $75,000 to $80,000 to upgrade it to where he'll be able to use it. Now, I wanted you to kind of see the packet. I brought them in so you could look at them. We need to determine some kind of a factor. I would suggest that we give him a year or two rent, like they did in Loudon. What's the name of that place, Doggy?
Monkey Town.
Monkey Town. They took an old depot and that was in bad shape and turned it into a nice pub-like thing with draft beer and a place to eat. And so I want you to think about this. We'll just look it over. It's self-explanatory. And in the workshop, we will discuss this further and kind of find out what we can do to help him out to get this up and going. It does meet qualifications that the city has in place. So all we need to do is kind of work out something that will help him out to get this open, because it would enhance that area down there. And I'll leave it at that. Any questions about it up to this point? We can't vote on it or anything like that, but you know, if you've got a question and we can even have him to come in during the workshop and talk about it. But it's in bad shape. The roof leaks, there's no central heating air, it's gonna have to be rewired, gonna have to be bathrooms put in it, and that's probably just start.
So he says it's gonna take $70,000 to $80,000 to fix it up, and our goal is to kind of give him a break on the rent, so that he's not investing in something that he has to walk away from. If he gets in there and it's way more than 70 to 80,000, are we just gonna continue to add years of no rent, or would that be just whatever you put into here, you get, well, I don't know, 3 years and no more?
Well, he's getting a couple of more estimates on it, but I'm thinking more like 125,000.
Yeah, I think 70 to 80 is.
But you're saying, what we're gonna have to do is give him 2 years of rent, give him back the rent he paid into it, the investment he made into it. That'll kind of be up to us, but he's gonna spend a lot of money, and we need to give him a nice lease on it when he does that.
I think the first thing we need to do is decide what we wanna do with it, just in general. I mean, I don't know that, has that come before the board on if we're gonna keep it, rent it, lease it?
Well, this is the first phase of what we're gonna do with it. He's been only one that's really shown interest. Frankly, I don't want a truck garage down there.
Right. I'm not saying that
yeah.
what I care that's down there, is we just
Yeah.
need as a board, before we get the cart before the horse, decide what we want to accomplish with it and
Well,
how we wanna utilize it as city property.
we have tried to get a hold of Nick on the swap deal or trade deal, and he's not corresponded back with us to the point where that we've got somebody that wants to invest in Sweetwater, and I think this is the beginning. And I think after this, something like this goes in, and it's a nice thing. We've got 2 more buildings down there that somebody may take notice and look at those. But he seems like to me that he wants to have a nice plot. That's a good spot for our festivals and things like that. We're just gonna have to come up with some kind of a deal for him. It would pay if y'all wanted to one day is to walk through it. That's when you really get an idea of what kind of investment you know he's gonna have to put into it. So maybe we could do that sometime, or Jess got a key. Anytime anybody wants to go look at it. Gonna have to have a roof put on it or repaired because it's full of water when it rains.
I think it's definitely a workshop discussion, but typically when you get into landlord and tenant upfits, there are a whole dynamic of who does what and who pays for what and who keeps up for what. If the city of Sweetwater is getting into the rental business, I think we need to look at those type stipulations. So I think bringing it before and then coming back for a workshop discussion where we can really get into the nuts and bolts would be a very good thing to discuss.
I agree.
And
And
do
that's
we
why
rent
I-
anything right now?
Do what?
Does the city rent anything right now?
Not anymore. We used to rent the utility board building, but when they moved out and built their new building, we don't rent that property anymore. So the police department moved into it, so we don't currently have any rental properties. It would definitely be something we'd want John Cleveland to draft a lease on
Yeah.
and like formal, all of that, and have it in writing, but I think a discussion in the workshop about what we wanna do with it is
I'll
probably
try
the
to
best
have,
first step.
I'll try to have him here at the workshop. Jim knows him. He's his neighbor. I don't know, is he a pretty good neighbor? Okay, all right. Beer board is,
I have one thing, Mayor, if I could. It's not on the agenda, but I need to add a part-time firefighter if I can. Is that allowed?
I don't think, technically, probably part-time firefighters don't even have to be voted on by the board. I think we do that more as a courtesy because they're just part-time, they're technically volunteer firemen, but
Yep.
go ahead and tell us your
Well,
name.
Zach Perry, I would like to add him to our part-time list as firefighter.
do we need a motion second vote on
We
that?
can do that as a courtesy, unless, do we need to have a motion in a second to add?
Okay, you make that a motion, Alan.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed likewise?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we are adjourned. We are adjourned in our city council meeting at this time. We're gonna reconvene as a Sweetwater Beer Board to review an on-premises application for Wilbur Enterprises LLC doing business at Sweetwater Market at the Mill to be located at 800 North Main Street, Sweetwater. John, you wanna take, or Eddie?
Somebody. Yeah, I believe the owner's here if she wants to speak, but basically, I think you guys had, received this request a while back, and Ms., I believe Ms. Wells was out of town at the time when you guys met beforehand, but we had just gone down there to take a look and see what the plans were, from a building perspective. It's currently, commercial, space that's retail in nature. And so we were just concerned that if it's gonna be, a food distribution or selling food, we wanted to kind of take a look at what the plans were. So Derek Ingram, the, fire inspector, and I walked through with Ms. Wells, and she laid out kind of the plans and what they proposed to do. Would be prepackaged food that would just be heated up in standard kitchen equipment, no commercial grade, kitchen equipment would be involved. They were gonna use the existing plumbing, take out a single stall sink, put in a double sink, and just tie into the existing plumbing. So there was nothing from a building perspective as far as any major renovations or permitting that would be involved. And as far as the usage goes, it wouldn't necessarily change that, either, just basically what she said, the number of people that would be served and the nature, it didn't, there's nothing from our perspective, from the codes or permitting that would raise any red flags. That's just from a building perspective. That's not from a business or beer permit or anything like that. We just wanted to make sure what was being proposed lined up with our zoning uses and things like that.
So it's, everything's cool.
As far as the building permits, yes,
Yeah.
occupancy and usage, it's not, it's not a restaurant that would require, commercial grade stuff.
Ms. Welch, do you have anything you'd like to say to the board?
So I've been chatting with Jessica, and, I think that you had emailed me some additional questions, and I had answered those, so I'm just here to answer any other questions that might be.
So you say you're not gonna be a restaurant and you're not gonna have a commercial kitchen, but you also plan on serving breakfast, lunch, and dinners
Yeah.
out of packages?
It's a services, places like that. They have meals and items that are pre-cooked and they come frozen and then you heat them up. Or sandwiches, like we're working with Telco Grains, so we'll be using their breads and have their baked goods already done off premise. So all of the reason why John was saying there's not a commercial kitchen need is all of the heating up and things of that nature don't have to be done in a commercial stove and oven and top that would cause any kind of fire hazards. But it'll be a cafe. It'll be, and it will have breakfast goods, and lunches are mostly you're talking about soups and sandwiches, and afternoon, early evening are meals, but they're meals that come already pre-packaged, pre-cooked, and then we heat them up and serve them together with other parts. Does that make sense? And we'll also be doing some packaged meals to go, because we do have a lot of people that come into the mill, into the mill itself during the day, and always asking, where can we grab something to eat? You guys have something to drink, things of that nature. So the vendors there, we have 105 small business owners there, as I'm sure you all know, and we have meetings every month. And this came up when I first took it back over. It came up, what are all the needs that we feel that you all feel would be best to keep building this market, because we're planning on continuing to build it into some of the other buildings too. And one of the first things that came up was, well, we need some sort of food and drinks here, because people come and it's pretty big. If you've ever been in there, there's about 13,000 square feet of 105 different business owners, and sometimes people get hungry halfway through or get thirsty and they're like, well, we'll be back, and the vendors are like, but they don't come back, because I've been there too, where I don't necessarily go back even though I intended to. So that's what they described as their biggest need. So we looked into how can we best do this, and what John was talking about is we do have it's almost like a building inside a building, if you will, that would be perfect for a cafe style kitchenette area. And then we did meet with the health inspection company too, so there's some things we're doing there just to make sure we're matching what their requirements are. You have to have doors that close automatically, things of that nature, so we've been working on that with them. And we're hoping to have it ready as a cafe and espresso bar by July 15th.
So
Okay.
that, just a couple questions. That was one of them. I think you answered. So you've met with Hester, the
Yes.
health department?
Yes.
Okay, so she is aware of exactly what you're wanting to do, and obviously if she's involved, then obviously that's another checkpoint that has to be done. As far as, is all of the food and all of the beverages truly pre-packaged? So as far as like, if you serve, it's not on a plate or it's not on a,
No, it'll be on plates. It's pre-made, it's pre-cooked, so we don't
Okay.
have to use ovens and stovetops. But we will have things that heat it up, microwaves, things of that nature that heat up the food.
so
That-
the cleanup portion of it all,
Yeah.
and that's what you're working with Hester as far as
Yeah.
the three
We actually-
compartments
He
and,
mentioned a 2-sink, it's actually a 4-sink.
Gotcha.
And then there's also the sink that goes down on the floor with the mops. And yeah, so all of that stuff we work with Hester on and are in the middle of getting that done.
okay. Is the beer that you're wanting to sell, is it bottle or draft or kegerators or,
The way that we have it set up is we'd like to do 6 taps, so in switching those out, and then the rest in behind the counter would be in coolers, so cans, bottles, that type of thing.
okay. Do you have a manager in place?
Yep.
Okay.
Lenore Sample, she's been there since I opened it 4 years ago.
Okay, I mean, as far as like beer sales manager, do you have, is this one in the same?
Yeah, she's the general manager, so she's also managing, we call it EAT at the mill, so
Gotcha.
she's managing that too.
Okay, and then I noticed you talked about the point of sale system, that obviously will keep up with those sales that, obviously taxes. What point of sales system will?
MVPOS,
Okay.
it's multi-vendor point of sale. It was created, it's used really for businesses like ours, so when there's multi-vendors.
Gotcha.
And so each actually gets set up as its own vendor number, and that's how it keeps it separate. So it has a
now, like the espresso and stuff like that?
No, we're not doing any of it until we get all of the,
Okay.
we're working on right now getting the sinks installed, those things. And I've been working with Hester on that, of course, and so she's already come over, we've already done the walkthrough, what's being done. Now we're just, and we had went over with John, when they came in where that's going to be installed, so that's what we're getting ready to install right now. In fact, today we're in one of the back rooms putting a concrete floor down so that we can have coolers and freezers back there, but haven't done the actual plumbing part for that yet.
As far as the manager, she's not listed on this application. You're the only one listed. Do we have to have the manager listed?
Yes.
The manager has to have a background check ran, so now that we know there's a manager, we'll have to run a background check on that manager.
Okay.
Does the manager has to have a background check before we can approve this?
Yes, we vote on it.
Okay.
Correct, John?
I think if you wanted to, you could approve it contingent upon the background check on the manager.
Are you,
She's actually at the store right now. I didn't have her come with me, but yeah, I don't think she's gonna have a problem with the background
do you,
check
do you
either.
care if we obviously went ahead and took action contingent upon,
Sure, yeah. No,
and that way,
I understand that.
that way you can still move forward, but we can check all the boxes that we need to check?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We don't expect to start serving until July 15th. July 15th's the day we're hoping that all of the stuff's done and it's ready to go into service. So there should be plenty of time to get her background check done before then.
Eddie, you see any problem? You've checked it out and run backgrounds.
We'll run background check on this well. She wasn't, like she's saying, her application wasn't properly filled out. She didn't have on there this other person in manager.
Okay. If,
There was nowhere on that application, she's gonna be a manager, she had it in front of her.
But
We just
that's
made her
something that can be
manager
added
2
to.
years ago.
That can just be added to, and everything else in the application will be for good, or.
I assume that's what city attorney.
Yeah, there's, other than that, the application and form is
Okay.
complies with the form that it needs to.
So a question about that. So we just elevated her to general manager. If we end up with any other general managers, every time you have a new manager, you have them do a background check. Okay.
You have to fill out that same page on any manager,
Okay.
or if your ownership changed, if an ownership change of more than 5%. So you brought on a partner that had a 30% ownership, say we'd have to run it on them too. So it's owners and managers.
Okay. So I hear that we're gonna vote it on contingent of the manager's background check. Is that correct? Are we going to vote on it? Is that okay with everybody?
we need a motion.
Yeah, but I mean, is that what we're all thinking? Do I hear a motion? That we vote on the beer permit upon contingency of the manager's background check being approved.
I make a motion for, is Angela Welch business, is there a business name on here, Angela?
Yeah, Wilbur Enterprises.
Wilbur Enterprises. If the managing member in place passes the background check, then the beer permit will go through, contingent upon.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
How long does a background check usually take, Eddie?
Maybe a day or two.
Okay.
So it'll be done before July 15th. Okay.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed likewise, motion does carry.
We have
Okay.
one no.
That's it, we are adjourned, thank you for being here.
My God. Hey, Jeff? I cannot find on this 2024 budget items anywhere for $6,000 for our lights at England Park.
It's inside right here, this 150,000 in improvements.
It's inside that right there.
150,000 is for
Okay.
LPRF grant, and 6,000